What's going on, people? This is your boy DJ A-Ron alongside my brother, as always, Cornbread. This is episode 211 of the A-Squared podcast, man. We are moving and grooving. Thank y'all for joining us out there. www.asquaredpodcast.com. Make sure you guys go there. All the links and everything will be in the description as always. Antonio, my brother, how are you?
What up, people? What up, world? Hey, man, we back for another episode. As Aaron said, make sure you like and subscribe, please, man. Damn, we about to be 220, 230, 300, 5 million. Like,
it ain't gonna stop.
We moving, man. But I appreciate all the content, all the love that we get, man. But it's been busy the past couple of week and a half, man.
Yeah.
You want to get into it? What you want to do, DJ?
I want to open up this podcast by telling a little story.
All right, I'm listening, man. I'm listening.
All our lives, we've been told by our parents. Who said they want their mama to come down to the school? She said something about me? Oh, I just want to know if she said my name. That's what moms, all moms said. She just got to say my name.
Facts.
So I took my son to school.
Okay. All right. It's one of these. Okay.
Dropped him off. I said, have a good day. Went to pick my son up from school. I said, how was your day, man? He said, good. I said, I got a story for you. He said, no, you don't. No, you don't. So I do. So as I was dropping my son out, so I'm telling him the story, by the way. Right. As I'm dropping my son off to school, I see 3 boys, 2 girls, and a mother. She had a bonnet on and house shoes. I said, this not good. Either she finna go in there and go off on a teacher or something, or something finna go down.
Right.
I see everybody kind of gathering around. I said, you know what, Antonio, this ain't for me, bro. I don't want to be put in a category of those people. So I said, man, let me get up out of here, man. I ain't finna do that. They ain't finna see me out here. So I drove off. I turned left. I did a U-E, and I sat at the stop sign, bro.
So tell the people why you did that, DJ. Why'd you do that?
Because I had to see it, bro. I had to see it through.
Yeah.
So mom is standing out there, and I can hear him. Bro, you know, first of all, one thing about black folks, we going to be loud when we got to be loud, bro. I'm hearing her say, yeah, she said what? She finna beat you and then do me how she do you? Okay. Yeah, we finna see. I said, this going to be good. Antonio, you of all people know how I feel about my steak, egg, and cheese bagel from McDonald's, bro.
That shit damn near what, every day?
It's a hit. It ain't every day. I don't treat myself every day.
Oh,
no.
okay.
But on this day,
yeah,
I had it. So I was waiting. I seen a van pull up. Saw 2 girls get out. The lady put her hazards on, and she got out. Now, I just told you this lady had on a bonnet and some slippers. Lady number 2 had on some short shorts and some black Air Force Ones. I said, she's not good.
That's not good. So we understand the context of the black Air Force Ones. Can you elaborate more on what that means to the listeners out there who might not know? They don't even have shoes by their feet. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you got to explain that.
Let me explain this. In elementary school, middle school, high school, if you have black Air Force Ones, you had 2 other things on you. A knife and some hot Cheetos, which means you're not losing that fight, bro. I've never seen a person in black Air Force Ones that loses a fight. And they're the worst people. They are the worst people. Yeah, they are definitely getting kicked out of school.
I'm about to say they always suspended.
They're always suspended.
You bought those shoes, they came with a week suspension every time.
That's what it comes with.
That's what it comes with. That's the receipt. You know, like the CVS receipt?
Yeah.
It's long at the bottom. If you read it, it says, don't come to school for a week.
People like, don't come to school.
Don't come to school. Yeah.
So I said, it's not good. She walks over. She said, who is the... I said, she's kicking it off already. The other lady said, I'm her. I've been waiting on you.
Damn.
I said, here we go. She said, I'm just trying to figure out why we can't settle this like civilized human beings. I said, what? So you just backtrack. Because you seen her with the black Air Force Ones. You backtracked.
She know.
Now it's civilized. Now you want to be civilized. Again, to the people out there, I always tell y'all, pick a side and stay there. If you was talking that talk, walk that walk, bro. That's how my Tuesday was. How was your week, my brother?
So last time we talked to you guys, we had an episode. And then I left the episode and hopped on a plane. All right. I told the listeners I was going to tell them where I was going on the next one. So, I knocked another bucket list location off, DJ, and that was to go to Lambeau Field, man. You know, Lambeau, Green Bay is one of those staple first NFL teams out there. Obviously, we might be spoiled because Chicago, and Chicago's one of those teams too, right? So Soldier Field is a staple, but also Lambeau, got to see Green Bay play the Colts. So it was great. A tip out there to the listeners: if you guys want to go see Green Bay play, fly into Milwaukee and then rent a car, or there's shuttles, buses, fan buses everywhere. Drive up to Green Bay. All right. It's like about an hour and a half. All right. Do not fly into Green Bay. It's $1 million to fly into Green Bay. There's nothing else to do other than the football game. So they're going to jack up the price.
They're going to jack up
right? They're going to jack up the price.
Makes sense.
So you'll have better hotel options, better food options, probably better nightlife, all that stuff as if you're in Milwaukee, and then take the hour and a half drive up there. So that's a tip to y'all out there. DJ, I kind of gauge people when they say they certain fans, right? Like, oh, I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm a this fan, I'm a that fan. Okay, cool, right? All right. How many games have you went to? I'm that person. I don't care if it's a home or away game, but do you support your team? You got to support them. Like, it's cool. Yeah. It's cool to root for somebody in the back in your front room, but go support your team, right? And it's good for you. I think it's good for you. So some people never went to games, or they went to one and it's a home game, right? Cool. I'm the level above that. I go to a game every year, and I go to away games, DJ. I'm not in the comfort of seeing all my peers high-fiving and it's all sweet. I go to the belly of the beast, DJ. Get to Lambeau Field, beautiful day. It was hot as hell that day too. And I'm glad it was early in the season because it wasn't snowing. Got a little tan. But get there, wearing my Colts, Colts jersey, Colts socks ready, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, let me go to the bathroom real quick before we get to our seats, right? Walk in the bathroom. I see a sea of yellow, right? All Green Bay fans, right? I'm waiting my turn, use the bathroom, turn around, go to wash my hands. They see me, DJ. That's when they see me, bro.
This when it starts?
And I'm not, and I'm not the Simpson meme where he's just there and he just hides off it, goes into the bush. No, I got to take it. What's up? They say, hey, fuck you. And everybody's like, yeah. I said, hey, y'all have a good day, man. Wash my hands and get out of there, boy. They at my neck, and I love it, bro. Go to the seat, kick off. Great, surrounded by Green Bay fans. There's a couple of Colts fans who sit in front of me. So talking to them about, week one, had a bad, tough week one loss. But week two should be better. That's what the Green Bay game is. Week two was not better at all, bro. Week two was actually worse. We got cooked up. I have Green Bay fans talking so filthy to me and the other Colts fans, and I couldn't do nothing about it. One of the coldest lines that I heard, and I was so mad I couldn't even respond, bro. Because, hey, if I'm losing, I'm losing. I got to take it. But I talk shit with the most. No, they score a touchdown, bro, and it's like 20-something to like 10 or 3. They said, who the hell lives in Indiana anyway? Boo! Bro, I started dying. I'm thinking who live in Green Bay, but I can't say nothing because we're getting cooked, man. We're getting cooked. But the game was a failure, but the experience and the trip and just the love was a positive, man. So it was good, DJ. So it was a good little trip, even though we took the L. But, Colts bounced back in week 3 and won that. So we ready for week 4, DJ. Ready, man.
Well, listen, we got a jam-packed show for y'all today. Stick around because we are going to be talking to somebody very special here shortly. And also, it'll be about this whole Diddy case. We have not really I was going to say we ain't really touched on it, but we ain't really talking about it. But
he touched on a lot.
But allegedly. But we will get into that shortly. But let's stick with football because we did not talk about Tyreek Hill a couple of weeks ago. We did not talk about that. And I did a little bit digging around and I found out some stuff. Okay. So I wanted to talk about that with you, Antonio. So number one, did you see the video?
I did.
And I want to get your thoughts on the video.
So let's back up before the video, right?
Okay.
It was breaking news that he got arrested. And so what we're talking about is Tyreek Hill. He plays for the Miami Dolphins, to the listeners out there who don't know. And he got arrested right before the game started, but he still made the game and played. So it was a big uproar. There's a couple white officers handcuffing him, right outside the stadium. You see the video, you see him right outside the stadium getting arrested. You don't know why. I thought it was for speeding, DJ. I don't know, but I just assumed it was for speeding because he's right there. After the game, they talk about it, saying, hey, nobody should be treated like that. No black male. What if I wasn't Tyreek Hill? What would have happened? All those things, right? So it was 100% Tyreek Hill was right. Officers 100% wrong. Is that the same sentiment that you got? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I feel like that, but that's only from the limited evidence that I had. But we got to see the video. I see the video, and obviously I have the other side because I am in law enforcement, so I kind of know how the protocol should go. And then based off of that, what are going to be my actions based off of what happens, right? Do you want to talk more about that before I get into the video?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. What you see on the body cam video is you have, let's say he was speeding. He gets pulled over. The officer walks up to the car. I don't know if let's say he had a bad day, right? So he was very short, frustrated, whatever. Hey, what are you doing? Speeding? Hey, give me your license and registration. Tyreek Hill's response is, what? Man, hey, don't ever knock on my glass, bro. Hurry up, huh? Here my ID.
Don't bang on my window.
Bang on my window, man. Get out of here. Right. Shoes him and then rolls up his window. The officer's like, hey, what is you doing? Don't be talking to me like that. And roll down your window. This is a safety issue from what have you been trained for when you pull somebody over, right? I have to say, he's an all-black window tints, right? You know, if he has somebody else there, he could be reaching for a gun, any of that. So now it becomes a safety issue for the officer. They're going back and forth in a screaming match, which I've been cursed out. I've been roasted. I've been all this stuff. But guess what? You don't get me out of my body. I don't care. I'm going home at the end of the day, but your behavior as a person is not going to dictate how I handle stuff, right? That's just me. But obviously this officer, no. Now it becomes a pissing contest. Now they open up the door, pull him out, and now they want to rough him up for the disrespect that Tyreek Hill did. I could say there was disrespect, but it doesn't matter. Those are words, right? He didn't shoot you. He didn't have a gun, none of that stuff. You got to take the ego out. But the officers were, I'm going to say 99% wrong. They weren't 100% wrong because certain scenarios, you have to worry about your safety. Right. There is protocol of getting pulled over. You're not above the law of that, right? And so Tyreek Hill should have handled that a little bit better. And he apologized after the fact of saying, yeah, I could have did this better. So that was my sentiment from the conversation, DJ.
Right. Okay, so a couple of things I found out that I did not know. Just like you, I heard what he said, thought it was some BS, agreed with him, seen the video, understood that you got a tinted window. How many times have we seen cops get shot and the car just speed off? You know what I'm saying? We've seen that plenty of times. So Tyreek was wrong for that. And that comes from a place of privilege, in my opinion, why he did that. Nobody should ever do that. He got pulled over by the stadium. Here's what I found out, Antonio. I don't know if you know this. The lane that he was in was an organization only lane. The officers that were working in that area were paid for by the team. So yes, pull him over because he's speeding. But you got to know that these are players or these are coaches or whatever the case may be. Give the ticket or, whatever you got to do. He handled it wrong, but I had no idea that was the players and organizational people specific lane to get them to the game to avoid traffic or whatever, because they got to be there 2 hours, 2.5 to 3 hours before the game. And so that, to me, was a problem. I think there was a lot of ego in it. I think that because the first officer that walked up was, hey, could you roll your window down? But the second officer, he was the one that was like, all right, no, we're not doing this today. And I'm thinking to myself, like, bro, you see Tyreek Hill's face on the side of the stadium. You know this is not going to go in. Essentially, if we're being honest, you know it's not going to go in your favor in the organizational, you know what I'm saying, eyes. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause that's the specific lane that they're supposed to be in. So having known that, how do you feel about it now?
I still feel the same, honestly.
You still feel the same?
Because if Tyreek Hill knows that, and let's say he's running late, he still can't speed. There's people here, there's people walking, there's other players, right? So if he broke the law, that's not the officer's fault.
Agreed.
It's the officer's fault to enforce the law.
Right.
It's the officer's fault on how he handled that, right? And take the ego out. But Tyreek Hill is still liable for, he could have ran somebody over. He could have did, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know.
True.
Actually, he could have hurt himself. Hey, hold on, stop. And he slides and then now he hits something, right? Like, so they're both at fault. And so that's how I feel. Not changing how, okay, it's the officer. Yes, the officer should know it's Tyreek Hill, but some people don't watch football, bro. That don't mean everybody don't know Tyreek Hill, bro.
I want to know how it feels like. I've always been told that officers are trained to de-escalate the situation, not escalate the situation. And I feel like we're living in a time where both sides are escalating the situation.
Right.
It seems like there isn't anybody de-escalating. So let's say if there is 2 or 3, 4 officers that pull a car over, the first car get there, he called for backup, backups gets there. I feel like all of them are not on the same, like they're escalating. I never really see a video or anything of one officer out of the 4 or 6 or 8 trying to de-escalate the situation. I don't feel like I ever see that.
And well, unfortunately, there's a million videos of that happening, but that's not what sells, right? Or nothing comes of that because they de-escalated it. So it's not going to reach you. The stuff that reaches the masses and the public, and
nobody wants to see the good stuff,
right? Is the negative stuff. So it sucks where there's plenty of videos, there's plenty of great officers out there, right? But there's also shitty ones too, and that's the ones that you see.
Yeah,
you never would have heard this story if the officer would have de-escalated and he would have made it on time.
That's a fact.
We wouldn't talk about this on the podcast, right? So
that's a fact.
So yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks, bro.
Another big thing that's happening right now, and I'm gonna try to report on it right now in real time.
Can we do the picks for real quick before you switch subjects?
Let's do the picks. Let's do the picks.
It's week 4. To the listeners out there, we try to give one pick of a guaranteed win, and then we try to give one pick of an upset of the week. All right. So this is week 4 NFL. My guaranteed win this week, to the listeners out there, I'm going to pick the Chiefs over the Chargers. It's 2 reasons why I'm picking the Chiefs over the Chargers for my guaranteed win. 1, Chiefs are 3-0, but that's irrelevant. They're playing like a bag of butt. But I think, and they're still winning, and the refs are cheating for them. It's crazy. But I think that they're finally going to try to pull it together in week 4. Everybody's going to start clicking, right? Travis Kelce's been playing terrible. I think this is going to be his come-out game. And it's a divisional opponent. Those are always tighter games, but you also know the enemy more. So I think they're going to dismantle the Chargers this week. So that's my guaranteed win, DJ. Do you have a guaranteed win? My
guaranteed win is going to be the Steelers over the Colts, bro.
Okay.
I think the Steelers' defense is extremely good, and I think the offense is good enough to put a minimum amount of points up to win. I don't think Richardson is playing very good as a quarterback. I think Jonathan Taylor's playing good, but I don't feel that their offense as a collective is playing good enough to put up enough points to beat that Steeler defense. And I think the Steeler defense is they're good enough to stop. I hate to pick against them, but I got to do it this week.
I'm with you, man. All right, so our upset of the week, we feel like I said, it doesn't have to be a record thing. It just be somebody that the masses feel like they're going to win, and then you could go against that. So I think this is a first, DJ. First one. I'm picking the Colts to beat the Steelers. That's my upset of the week because of everything you just said. I 100% agree, and that's why it's going to be even sweeter when we cook them, boy. Because
I like it.
Anthony Richardson is garbage.
I ain't gonna say that yet. I ain't gonna say it yet,
bro. It's so many people open, and he is not accurate, and he throws 100 mile an hour 5 yards down the field. I don't understand it.
He throws like a baseball.
What are you doing, bro? He's missing. He can't read defenses right now. He's still a rookie technically, even though this is his second year, man. So it's very frustrating to watch him. Yeah. But I feel like hopefully he's studying. Luck is on our side. I think our defense is okay. We can't stop the run, but
Najee Harris
has been okay. They're not really. They're a run first team, but they're not a run heavy team.
It's like Justin Fields can get out of the pocket and get those extra yards too.
But they don't lean on that. You know what I'm saying? They don't lean on that to be their bread and butter, right?
That's true.
For me, I think we can get an upset if we can stay close. If they don't go gangbusters, Steelers don't put up a lot of points.
No, they don't.
So if we could put up 20, 25 points, I think we can overcome it. So that's my upset of the week, DJ. Who you got?
Got it. I'm going Panthers over the Bengals, bro.
Ooh, and those are two bad teams right now.
I don't like what is happening with the Bengals, bro. They don't look in sync. I think a lot of it has to do with management. I think that when you have two really good wide receivers, I feel like you just need to pay them. If they're in their prime, you got to just take care of them. Get that out of the way early. Don't wait. Don't, you know what I'm saying, play games. Get that. I think that's what's hurting the Cowboys is that they didn't take care of people. They waited so long. Had they done that, they would have had enough money to maybe get a Derrick Henry.
Got you.
If you had done that early, I feel like the Bengals they waited. And honestly, Andy Dalton is a veteran quarterback that knows how to play the game, that knows how to prepare to play for the game, who probably should have been starting in the beginning because we're putting these rookies in the game too early.
Week 1.
We're putting them in the game too early. Listen, I didn't play sports, but I listen to people that do play sports. And when people say the game changes,
it does.
The speed changes,
it does.
The outcome changes because these people in the NFL are playing for their families and their livelihoods. They're not playing to just get there.
One context to even back what you just said. I was top in Illinois as a receiver, right? To play football. So I'm a top player in the state of Illinois. I go to college, even with everybody else, because everybody's the top player where they come from, bro.
Right.
That's just one level. Now you go from the college to the NFL. Everybody, okay, you a Heisman, that don't mean nothing to the NFL. It's only a few who had a illustrious career who were Heismans. Right. Because it don't mean nothing. College stats don't mean nothing for the NFL. So I agree with you, DJ.
And these are the best in the world.
Best in the world, bro.
You are not. I don't care if you're the worst player on the team. It don't matter. You're better than everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, I'm the fastest person in Illinois. All right, go to the Olympics.
See what happens.
They didn't even qualify.
That's
how I go. That's how I go. So I'm with you, DJ.
Yeah. So again, guys, we do have somebody getting ready to join the podcast very soon, but there's a lot of stuff going on right now in this Sean Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever y'all want to call him this case.
Brother, don't say whatever. This is your boy. Don't do that. Don't
listen,
do that.
You and my guy Delaney.
Don't do this.
Y'all got to stop saying that's my guy.
Don't do this, bro.
Just because I like to party, you got to tell them no. You can't go.
That's a fact.
So I do that. I was doing the Diddy bop, but y'all got to leave me and my homeboy OJ alone, bro.
No, he's definitely your boy.
Y'all got to let us alone. Mm-hmm. All right. So it's a lot of stuff going around there. We haven't really talked about anything because what I wanted to do was get somebody on here that's more educated than us. We wanted to have somebody on here that was more educated than us. Speaking of the devil, we wanted her to speak to us about this situation that is going on. Biggest news outside of the presidential situation and Eric Adams at this point. Hello, Elisabeth Pollock is on here with us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining the podcast.
How are you?
Not in jail.
The good news of the day.
There you go.
That's a fact.
So again, thank you for joining the podcast. We really wanted to have somebody on that it understands the law, understands what's going on as a defense attorney, correct?
Correct.
And
the best defense attorney. Hold on.
Hey, that's a fact.
Hey, man, come on. What kind of title is that, man? The goat over there.
There you go. So again, we have been watching this Puff Daddy Diddy situation, and we wanted to get your opinion as a defense attorney, because you've defended a lot of people. You know what I mean? We had you on before, so we know that. But again, if you could just remind the people of your background, and then we'll talk about the situation.
Sure. So now I am the Chief Public Defender for Champaign County, Illinois. I've been in this position since December of 2022. And before that, I was a federal public defender for 11 years and did some private practice for about 6 years before that. So I have been a criminal defense attorney for almost 20 years. And I did practice in federal court, although not in the Southern District of New York. I was in the Central District of Illinois, but I have seen charges like this before.
Okay. So in hearing that, when you hear what's happening now, and you see all the news blogs and everything that's going on, can you give us your opinion and just kind of break it down to us?
Sure. So the indictment is actually relatively short, all things considered. So there's only 3 counts that he's currently charged with. Count 1 is racketeering conspiracy. So it's a RICO violation. And that happens when there is a group of people that are referred to as an enterprise, who all conspire together to violate the law in various ways. And so what count 1 alleges about P. Diddy is that from basically 2008 to 2019, he and his co-conspirators, they worked together to conduct these various activities, all of which with the goal of committing law violations. And the violations of the law that are included in the indictment, they are arson, sex trafficking, witness tampering, drug distribution. I mean, it's a whole range of activities that are charged as violations. And generally speaking, when a RICO violation is charged, the penalty range is 0 up to 20 years of imprisonment, except when the underlying offenses have maximums that are greater than 20 years. And in this case, several of them have maximums that are up to life in prison. That transfers the maximum sentence from 20 years up to life. And so he is facing life in prison under count 1. But it doesn't have a mandatory minimum. So there is no minimum sentence associated with that. There is, however, in count 2, and count 2 of the indictment is sex trafficking by fraud or coercion or force. And that one has a 15-year mandatory minimum sentence up to life. Count 3 is the least serious count. It's transportation of a person to engage in prostitution in interstate or foreign commerce. And that is 0 up to 10 years of imprisonment. And so it's a short indictment. It's only about 12 pages or so. You would expect in kind of cases like this, we have, hundreds of counts, hundreds of pages. But what is apparent to me from this is that their investigation is still ongoing. And so from reviewing the facts that are alleged in the indictment, it's apparent to me, and I'll be happy to be proven wrong when all the evidence gets unsealed, but this all got started with Cassie's lawsuit last fall. And so the allegations that were made in Cassie's lawsuit about the behavior that she experienced when she was with him, that is mirrored in the criminal indictment. And so what's pretty clear to me is that jump-started the investigation. But what they did was, as soon as that lawsuit was filed, they impaneled a grand jury, and the grand jury has investigative powers. And so they have done probably 300 grand jury subpoenas. They've confiscated over 100 electronic devices. They've done interviews with more than 90 people. And I guarantee you that there are some people on P. Diddy's staff that have cooperated, people that have flipped or become witnesses for the government in exchange for either not being prosecuted or potentially receiving a lighter sentence if they are in fact prosecuted. So based on the representations that they've made, there is a lot of evidence and everything is still ongoing. I can say from experience that you cannot process 90 or 100 electronic devices in a short period of time. Those types of forensic analysis, they take a really long time to go through. So we're going to be seeing new information come out over time as this case continues to progress.
Can you elaborate more? You brought up Cassie, right? And can you talk more about a credible witness, right? Because I'm sure there were plenty of cases brought up before on P. Diddy, but they got swept under the rug, right? They got it paid off. Let's say the coercion happens, intimidation happens, money laundering happens. Something happens where that person goes away. But obviously, Cassie is the one who didn't go away. She actually won her civil suit, right?
Well, they settled it.
Oh, they settled. I'm sorry. So they settled. Now they do have a credible witness that they can say, okay, now you were in the inside. So can you speak more about of how that either helps or hurt a case?
Well, I mean, it's not just the witness because they have video. And so video evidence is tough to refute. And when that lawsuit came out, they settled in like a week. And the reason they settled in like a week is because they wanted this pushed under the rug as quickly as humanly possible. And they knew this was coming because his lawyers took pretty incredible steps to try to set him up for the possibility of receiving bail. They did things like they surrendered the passports for him and his entire family. They offered to put up his Miami estate as collateral for bond in the amount of $50 million and secure that with collateral from another estate. They had him, agree. He came to New York voluntarily to surrender himself, and they didn't let him surrender himself. They actually went out and arrested him, even though he came there voluntarily to do so. And all that was very calculated. That was done because they knew that this was coming and they wanted to set him up to get a potential for pretrial release. And that was denied, not only by the magistrate judge who heard the initial case, but there's a procedure in federal court where you can appeal the detention decision of a magistrate judge to the district court judge. And they also denied. So he is in custody and he ain't getting out. Despite all of his, massive efforts to do so. So, the type of evidence that we're talking about here, I mean, forensics have progressed so substantially in the last 20 years. They've got video. They've got surveillance video from his own house.
I'm about to say that's his fault, man. He videoed this shit.
You record your stuff, you pay the price, man. I mean, for all of our listeners, please don't do that. Please don't take pictures of yourself committing crimes. Please don't take video and think that some law enforcement guy's not going to snag it. The number of cases I have where my own clients have produced the evidence and they posted it like on Snapchat or Instagram. I'm like, y'all, come on, cut it out. But he did that. I mean, he purportedly recorded a lot of these illegal activities and they've got records of it. And you can delete information, but modern forensics, deleted information can be recovered.
And you try to use it as blackmail, right? But it's actually held against you.
Well, so I mean, one of the accusations under the RICO count is witness tampering, federal witness tampering, because of the number of bribes he attempted to pay to people to shut him up.
He called somebody 57 times?
Jesus.
I mean, and look, all this is presumed. He is presumed innocent. And so none of these charges have been borne out in front of a jury or in a court of law. But in my experience with federal prosecutors, they're not going to say they haven't unless they haven't.
So you mentioned all this stuff, all these things that you know how it works. Let's say you were his defense attorney. How would you go about it? What would you advise him at this point? Well, what is your thoughts on that? Because that has to be knowing everything that you just said. I'm assuming that his attorneys know everything that you just said.
Yes.
I'm sure.
So, he's in a really difficult situation and he's going to be in a more difficult situation financially because the RICO statute has not only civil forfeiture provisions, but there's also a separate civil section of the statute that allows private persons who are harmed by these activities to sue him for damages as a result of those activities. So if I'm him right now, my money's going to be gone pretty quick. I think they're going to attack his finances. And then we'll see what his, $1,000, $2,000 an hour lawyers have to say once he doesn't have any money left. But they're going to try to take his money. That's going to be a number one concern because that's how you fund a defense like this. And really what it's going to come down to is, and of course, I've not seen the discovery, so I don't know who the witnesses are. I don't know what their representations have been to authorities or what they've testified to in the grand jury or what statements they've given. But this is a glut of evidence. This is going to be a lot of people. And a lot of people who are lower on the food chain are going to want to be flipping to protect themselves because now they know the bubbles burst, man. The bubbles burst, and it seems like he was able to keep a lid on this pretty successfully for a lot of years. And once that bubble just had a little hole poked in it by Cassie's lawsuit, the whole thing burst. And everybody's coming out of the woodwork now to say their piece about what he's done. And this is over the last 20 years. So the RICO count actually has to do with stuff that has happened as recently as like a month ago. Because once they found out that this was coming, the allegation is that they went after the people who were going to be testifying or cooperating and that they tried to either pay them or convince them in other ways to not have them cooperate. So what I'm telling him right now, I want this to last as long as possible because the longer it lasts, the more likely it is that these witnesses decide that they're not going to cooperate. They're not going to tell that story. But he's up shit creek. This is going to be a real big problem for him because even if a handful of witnesses decide to change their minds, we are still looking at probably at least 100 people.
Jesus, man. I appreciate the updates and what you would do as well. So you did say, obviously, he's presumed innocent, right? And so I agree with that. But there is one thing he's guilty of, though, Elisabeth. And that's buying thousands of bottles of baby oil and lube, bro. That's automatic life.
Didn't you hear? Costco doesn't sell them in lesser amounts.
And so even Costco came out and said, no, we didn't sell them that. Bro, they already came out. They said, no, we ain't got nothing to do with that.
I can assure you that Costco does not have baby oil. I'm in there 2-3 times a week. They do not have baby oil.
So the main party that everybody's speaking of, right, and where they said a lot of these, the rape happened, right? A lot of the prostitution, a lot of the illegal drug use, all these things happen at these things called freak-offs, which I thought it was just a term that we just say, but I guess it's a real thing. They really called it a freak-off, right? And so how do you feel the people at these freak-offs who were videoed, Diddy's house has cameras everywhere. How do you think they're feeling right now? You think, are they jumping on the bandwagon of, hey, yeah, Diddy took advantage of me, or he gave me a drink and he spiked it, right? Or do you think that they're trying to stay far away, that no, I was never there, right? Or presume their own innocence?
It's going to be a mixed bag. So there's going to be people that want nothing to do with this and they don't want to cooperate and they prefer to be left alone. They don't want their name out there. They don't want to testify. They don't want to be witnesses because in spite of his being detained and in spite of this looking like it's the end of the road for this type of activity for him, he still has a lot of people on the outside who will be supporting him and who will be trying to help him with his case. And who knows what kind of contacts they might. People might be afraid. They don't want to cooperate for that reason because he's just such a powerful person. There's also going to be the flip side of that. There's going to be people who feel that they've been so wronged, they're willing to put themselves out there like that. I mean, Cassie's lawsuit, I read the complaint that she filed, and it is terrifying and tragic to read what she said. And she put that out there. I mean, she was really brave and she put it out in the public eye. And I don't know what her settlement was or what her motivation was for doing that. Maybe she felt that it was her only way out to truly sever the relationship between the two of them. But there's going to be people like her, people who want to say, look, you did this to me and I want to have my day in court. Now, I assure you that there are going to be other types of people who are trying to jump on this bandwagon because they see a payday. And so that all of this can be true at the same time. So if I am his lawyer, what I'm starting to work on is I'm starting to do investigations and background on everybody who's involved in the case. Because one of the primary ways to discredit a witness at trial is to prove that they have a motivation or a bias to testify against that person for some reason. And it could be any reason that causes them to have a motive to say the things that they're going to say. And so all these people who are witnesses are going to be investigated. Their motivations are going to be brought to light. And ultimately what's going to happen is this is going to be a credibility determination. And the credibility issue is going to be for a jury to decide whether or not they believe these people or whether or not they are just trying to take advantage of somebody who is very wealthy, and maybe all this stuff in his mind was voluntary. Maybe none of this stuff really happened. And so maybe, yeah, sure, you had an orgy, but that's not a crime. It's not a crime to have an orgy.
And that's what I was actually going to ask you.
Can y'all tell us about what happened with y'all?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, because I feel like, what was it? How many times have we heard about an orgy? Like, back in my day, I remember when they called these things an orgy. You know what I mean? You call people from different places. They show up. They go to whatever big mansion or whatever, and everybody just does whatever. And I think that's where I know there were drugs involved, but I felt like that's what people used to do. So how do you determine what's an orgy and what's a freak off?
Attorneys are going to try to classify all of this as a freak off. And so there's a lot of other allegations, which of course we would need to look. They took, when they searched his places, they found some firearms. Now,
Yes.
so the government version of events is that these were firearms that were used to coerce people, to threaten people, to make people afraid, to kind of do his bidding and his business. But those firearms, a lot of them are registered to his security staff. And so if I'm his lawyer, I'm thinking, you know what? I got bodyguards. They got guns. So what? Like, that doesn't matter. And so there's always two sides to a story, which is why everybody is presumed innocent. Now, is he in a shitload of trouble? Yeah, he's in a shitload of trouble, to the point that the judge in the case decided you have to stay in jail because we're afraid you're going to run, even with a $50 million deposit on bond security, because of the seriousness of the allegations. So don't get me wrong, these are extremely serious, and he is looking at a lot of time in prison if he is convicted. But when you have somebody in a position of power like that, with the wealth that he has, that he's built up, because like, look, going all the way back to, you know, his history when he grew up, when his dad was killed, and when he turned this empire into what it is, and he worked to get there. And so there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want to kind of latch onto this, and you know, that's going to be a question of credibility for a jury to decide, because I don't know how they're going to come off. I don't know what their motivations are, and I don't know what their backgrounds look like. But his attorneys are going to be checking each of these people out and trying to figure that out so they can put that evidence in front of a jury.
I'm trying to figure out though. I can't remember a time in my life when I've actually seen someone flee and get away though. Like, so what, like I keep hearing that. Okay, tell us that then, because I can't, I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, where exactly are you going to go, and how long is that going to last? You're going to get caught with the guy in Mexico, just a couple of months ago, he got caught working actually as an officer, which is very strange. He actually got a job as an officer and ended up getting caught after 20 years. But how does that actually happen though?
Well, there are non-extraditable countries. And so if you go to, I mean, I'd say I don't know the statistics for real, but like probably 90% of the world's countries we have extradition treaties with. And so if you go to Mexico or Canada or Germany or Tahiti or any of these places, and they find you, that government's going to say, sorry, bro, you're going home. They're going to turn you over to the authorities. But there are some countries that we do not have extradition treaties with, for example, Russia. And so if you go to a country that is not willing, that is an enemy of the United States and is not willing to turn you back over, there are very few legal remedies that anybody has to drag you back. And so, like, I had a client one time who fled to Russia and stayed there for a decade. That individual ultimately voluntarily returned to the United States, and the minute he set foot on U.S. soil, he got arrested. But there are places now with his fame level and with, you know, the public nature of who he is, like, it'd be very difficult to hide anywhere. And I don't know what kind of political machinations would happen behind the scenes, even with a non-extradition country, to maybe get him back through a different way. But I mean, overall, I agree with you. Fleeing is not going to get him really far. I think the bigger issue in the judge's decision was dangerousness. And that's because of the allegations of trying to persuade witnesses not to testify and the violent acts that were allegedly committed against those witnesses to try to shut them up. So I think that was likely the bigger basis for detention, was the risk of danger to the participants in the case.
So thank you for that. I also have another legal question. So a case like this RICO case that's now, right? But you have Cassie's civil suit, and I'm sure there was an NDA somewhere in there. Could those things be brought up again in this RICO case, right? Like, let's say he settled with somebody in '08, the exact same scenario as Cassie. But that person has that key piece for this RICO case. Can they be brought up again, or are all NDAs, all settlements to the wayside, and you have to figure it out from now?
Paper.
It can.
Okay. So NDAs are an agreement between two parties that neither party is going to disclose what happened. If you breach an NDA, there are financial penalties. So if you've signed an NDA with somebody and you go out and talk about it, they could conceivably sue you for God knows how much money. I'm pretty sure that the victims, alleged victims, if they do have NDAs, they couldn't give a crap about what their potential liability is in terms of the financial consequences of an NDA. It's just a piece of paper. You know, it doesn't bind their mouth closed.
Gotcha.
And so, and Diddy at this point has much bigger problems than trying to go after people breaching these NDAs. Plus, who knows what kind of remuneration or compensation they could get from other sources if there were to be a penalty of some kind. Now, it would be impeachment evidence at trial to say, you know, you're just saying this because you want to, you know, get more money out of me or whatever.
Right. Write a book or something like that.
But honestly, like when I look at the allegations of Cassie's lawsuit and the allegations of the indictment, they're identical. So I am fairly sure that victim one, who is listed in the indictment, is likely her.
So let me ask you this. As a defense attorney, what's your goal in this situation with him?
That's driven by the client. So I don't make decisions about what my clients want. I ask them what they want, and then I do my best to make that happen. And so if my client is telling me we're going to fight this all the way, I'm going hard, then that's what we're going to do. If my client tells me, man, I don't want to do this, just get me the best deal you can get me, let's get rid of it as quickly as possible, then that's what I'm going to do. So I don't make those decisions. That is driven by the person who I represent. And so it looks for now like they're going to fight.
The attorney keeps saying they're going to fight it all the way.
They're going to fight it all the way. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they did, because a lot of things happen between investigations and trials. You know, witnesses back out, evidence comes to light that impeaches a witness's credibility. You know, a lot of these things can change between the time the charges are filed and when the case actually goes forward to a trial. And this ain't going to trial anytime soon, because the volume of evidence that the federal government is attempting to produce, that's going to take months. It's going to take a really long time, even if they had a task force working on it. And so I think we're looking at way down the road here, and you don't know what the circumstances are going to be when you finally reach that point.
Shit, trying to find a jury is going to be a shit show. Like this is finna be bad. This is like the Amber Heard situation, right? This is like the Young Thug situation that's happening now. It's like this is going to be front page news every day, 24/7, right? Yep. And so the whole court case is finna get ugly, man. But Elisabeth, I know your time is precious, man. So we don't want to hold you. I want you to we want to thank you first off, and then we want to congratulate you because you did just win another case, right? This is I don't know, this is maybe just like a paycheck to you. Every 2 weeks you winning cases every goddamn. But congratulations. If you want to speak more on that, of maybe the court case that you won or anything else you want to speak about.
Well, I mean, thank you. I don't have the permission of my client to talk in detail about his situation. But what I will say is that it is always my honor and my privilege to defend any client I'm currently representing. And the awesome power of the state and the government is so often levied against people who have so few resources. And to be able to represent them and to win and prove that just because you look a certain way or you hang out with a certain group of people or police think something about you, that doesn't mean you're guilty of what you're charged of. And it is the bastion of constitutionality to have an attorney to be able to fight for you no matter your income level. And I will never be anything other than a PD for that reason. So thank you guys. I appreciate it.
That is amazing. Man. Ladies and gentlemen, Elisabeth Pollock, thank you. Thank you for joining the A Square podcast. We appreciate you.
How can people ask questions if they have any from the listeners on that?
They can hit you up with questions and you can email them to me.
We'll forward it to you.
Yeah, I'll be happy to answer anything.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you. I love you, man.
Thank you so much.
Care, guys.
Have a great night. All right. Let's get a, let me see if I can get a round of applause right there. Elisabeth Pollock joining the A Square podcast to give us all the information. We certainly do appreciate her because we don't know shit.
we know like 1%. We know 1%.
I forgot to ask a question.
Hey, man.
Who is the guy that counted the bottles of oil? Like, did he count in 2s, 5s, 10s? 1,000 bottles is crazy.
No, I don't think he volunteered for this. I think he was at his desk, and they say, "Hey, my man, come here." And, he's the low man on the totem pole, right? So he like, "Yes, sir. What's going on?" They say, "Hey, we got some shit for you to count," and everybody knows the joke, but he don't know. He's like, "All right, cool. I'll count something." Like, that's easy work. Shit.
So they playing games. The officers, the fans is playing games.
They took him to a warehouse, empty. He like, what the fuck? What is this? A prank? Whatever. And then you see a big 18-wheeler say boop, 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 boop. And then you see a forklift coming. And he take it, and you think it's one pallet, right? And it's a lot of boxes, and he drop it off. And he like, all right, what the fuck is that? I gotta count that. But the forklift keeps going to take all the shit off the 18-wheeler. He opens it up. And it's baby oil
Johnson and Johnson, baby.
And he has to count it. That's how I think it happens.
I want to talk to all y'all viral people out there. I know y'all trying to go viral. We always talk about the man and what the man is doing to us. Y'all are doing this to yourselves. Y'all are going to Walmart. You're going to different Dollar General, Dollar Trees, and you're buying baby oil to put in your videos. I guarantee y'all are up in the stock at Johnson & Johnson. Stop it. It's not worth... Bro, get a regular bottle and put a hole in the top of it and make it look like oil. Create. You feel me? You up in the stock and something that...
But imagine the real people who need baby oil, and there's none.
Ain't none left.
There's none left.
Ain't none left. And here y'all go.
Tough.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was a wonderful podcast today. Antonio, do you have anything else left on the docket for us? I do.
I have one more thing.
But man. I do want to get more information before I talk about it.
You might like this, but I feel like you're not because you are a Marvel person.
All right.
Batman is in the Hall of Fame.
Okay,
Batman character made the Hall of Fame as of 9/26. Right?
We'll give a round of applause for that. I like it.
So I think that's huge.
I think it's worth it.
My question to you is, DJ.
Yeah.
Who's a character for you that you want to put up on the ballot that you feel like should be in the Hall of Fame?
Blade.
Any character ever? You said who?
Blade.
Okay. Yeah. Can you give your
I do. First black superhero that was out there.
Man.
That was in the Marvel universe.
Saved him.
And I wasn't, and I'm saying this as I'm like almost biased because I didn't watch it till it was too late. But I realized that character and what he represented, and you know what I'm saying, and how dope he was. Definitely Blade, I would say, for sure.
I like that.
I definitely would say that.
This is not my first, second, third, fourth, fifth choice at all. But reality sets in too, right? Where like I can use it as like a Hall of Famer, right? Somebody might make the Hall of Fame, but you're like, bro, they was ass. I know plenty of people who should have made it before them, but they didn't. But this person did. So this is my argument for this person. I'm gonna say Spider-Man. Spider-Man is not my top. I got plenty of characters who I feel like should make it before him, but Spider-Man is so timeless. It's a hit every time.
Every time.
This person does not age. Everybody can relate. Everybody's not the popular guy. Everybody's not the billionaire, the philanthropist.
That's very true.
The genius. But there's more average Joes out there, and Spider-Man is an average Joe who saves the world and has anxiety, pimples, trying to get the girl, can't get her, double life, all that stuff. So for me, I think Spider-Man should make it. So that would be my choice, man.
I agree with that.
That's what I got.
And before we get out of here, I do want to say rest in peace to Tito Jackson.
Facts.
Tito Jackson passed away. I know a lot of people had a whole lot of jokes about
What was the jokes? Dang.
Listen, here I don't care about the jokes. Here's the facts. Okay? We don't know what would have been of any Jackson if he had not picked up that guitar when he did, defying his father's decision on don't touch my stuff. I'm in a band already. Y'all kids need to be kids. But he picked it up, and ever since he picked it up, they ran with it. And we don't know what would have happened if he had not done that. Knowing he finna get his ass whooped. Right. He knew what time it was.
For sure.
And he still did it. And the most iconic family, we can honestly say he did that. I ain't gonna go into all the jokes and stuff like that people said, but I would say rest in peace to Tito Jackson. Long live Tito Jackson, man. So I want to start out by saying that.
And we have a special guest, special episode next week for you.
Next
we
week,
cooked
man.
Up something nice. A lot of information that we learned as parents and specifically for kids, right? You know, I'm not going to give it away, but this episode is one of those ones, man. It's a banger for y'all. So hopefully y'all enjoy what the product that we put out, bro. We're not predictable.
No.
If y'all have not learned that,
if you ain't know now,
everybody hit me up, man. You don't tell me. I'm not gonna tell you nothing. There's nothing to tell you. Listen, subscribe, share.
That's a fact.
That's the only product. That's the only surprise you're gonna get.
That's it.
Make sure you tune in, man. So I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, and the very, very last thing I will say, if you into documentaries or docuseries, Aaron Hernandez, is out now on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're up to episode 3. They release on Wednesdays, if I'm not mistaken.
On Hulu, right? Or FX?
On Hulu.
Yep. Okay.
It is a must watch.
Okay.
And I say it's a must watch because as we grew up, we lived through this. Like, we actually really lived through what happened with this situation from college to pro. If you into sports, if you just want a series that's going to give you all the entertainment, realness, all of it, this is the documentary for you. So definitely check that out.
Appreciate it.
And Antonio, as always, what do you tell the people, man?
Thank you to Elisabeth Pollock for blessing the episode again. Thank you. Give us an insight on the defense attorney side and some knowledge on the case, right? Yes. Also, thanks to you, DJ, bro, always being available. We appreciate, man. We putting up 112 episodes or 212 episodes. It's not easy, man. So thank you for being available. And then thank y'all to the listeners out there where we still rocking with y'all, and we're growing every day. But if you haven't already, I don't buy new stuff, bro. I don't care about none of that shit. I ain't bought no new shoes in years, DJ. I buy socks though. That's a fact. That's
so crazy.
I do buy socks.
You get some fresh socks.
I got 2 pairs of. I got 2 like sock drawers. Like, it's facts. It is what it is. But I don't buy new shoes. But I guarantee I know where they at, and they by my feet, DJ.
I love it, man.
That's all I can tell you, man.
I love it. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the A Square Podcast, and y'all keep it locked until next time. We are out of here, y'all. Peace.